What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to use Rockstar editors for movie making or video editing, whatever you want to use. So you start up by putting the menu up and going to Rockstar Editor. After you've done so, you click Create New Project. You now add a clip from the gameplay you saved. For this one I'm going to be using, let's try something basic. Let's try me right here. Okay. You obviously have the clip and the length. This is all the user interface for the length. You have to click into it to edit. Okay, so you have your basic interface on your left, cameras, effects, audio speed, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be showing you how to basically start it up. If you have a character right here, you want to film the character, then you obviously open up cameras because you're going to have to move your camera. You're not going to obviously stay in this position. So camera type would be free camera. This is what you're going to be looking for. Free camera, you just go to the right, free camera. Whatever based on the camera movement is up to you. It's based on experience, how you want the character to be displayed in your video, your movie, whatever you're making. For this one, I'm going to put a basic pan, a camera pan. Let's put linear. That's what it means. Linear means from point A to point B in one straight line, what I call a camera pan in real life. Okay, so let's start with our first. This is our first pinpoint. In the bottom, you start off with a basic pinpoint. This little big marker right here. You can move it from wherever length you want to go to start the clip, or go all the way back to the start. For this one, I'm going to go back all the way to the start just to show you. Alright, now let's go to edit camera. That's where you're going to be moving your camera. You want to click the left mouse button so you can get a grasp and move with your mouse so you can free aim basically what you're doing, and use your WASD keys to move around. And obviously you have a whole key in the bottom. You can use that reference. For this one, we're going to put the camera to our left towards the sun. Position it right here. Okay, now that we have that, you can right click so you can leave that area. And what you're gonna do is just press play. Have a feel for it. Press play. This is basically it. This is how you're gonna start off your clip. Obviously, you want the pan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new marker. On the top right here, you see markers. The middle means place a new marker. The double markers on the left hand side means your previous marker. On the right means after, anything after. It's basically just chronological order of marks. So go ahead and I pressed a new marker. Go to camera, edit camera. Now we're gonna move to the second position where we want the camera to pan at. Let's try right here. We don't want it to go too fast. Okay, now we can edit that. Okay, now we exited that, and now we can go back and see how it pans. You can see how it slowly pans. Obviously, I'm moving around because that's just gameplay, but it's going too fast. So what we want to do is, oh, actually, we kind of made a mistake. I forgot for the second marker to take off linear. It's very important to watch out with these. For the second marker, you want to take off linear. That way you don't continue getting a pan. And let's extend the marker a little bit further. That way we can have a much slower pan. That was way too fast, in my opinion. Okay, so we're pressing play. And now we have a nice pan. And when the clip stops, you shouldn't have another pan. There you go. Now you have your guy standing still doing whatever you want. Now you can add a more movieistic effect. Now let's go back to the markers we were doing. We can go back. This is the second marker we're on. We want to go to the first one. Now for the cameras, obviously, you're going to go to shake. And it has different varieties. What I like is Rockstar did is they put different types of shakes. Like movie feel. So you have your handheld feel, your drunk feel, ground vibration, which is personally my favorite, and you have air turbulence, which is another my favorite. Let's put handheld. It's more a bit realistic. Now, watch how the handheld pan is gonna make it a little bit more interesting. So it's got a handheld feel while it's panning. So now it has a little bit more movie tone. And basically that's what it is. What I like to do is I like to leave a space after the second marker. That way I can place a new marker and start with a new camera. That way you can have a view of what's after. You never want to put markers too close, because then you get confused and you have an ugly transition. Zooming in is always great. So zooming in is your best friend. Don't forget that. So we're gonna start right here. Actually, no, that was way too ugly. Right center. There you go. Always wanna get maybe a little bit off, but I always want to get a center view. Edit camera. Go ahead and move it to this side, maybe a little bit closer, depending on where you want the camera to be at the next pan. And let's see, we can. Okay, he starts to run there. So let's just go ahead and well, let's make sure there's no linear after we place. We forgot to put the linear. It's very important to never forget that. Right here. All right. Now you can see it's a nice pan, very movie-listic feel because you have a nice sun in the background. And bam, he starts to run. Okay. Now, obviously, if it was going a lot faster, it would look nicer. But that's your basic pan. Okay, so let's now move on to another clip. Now that I showed you one clip, let's change it up. Okay, so now that we have a clip here, we're on a highway. And I remember this this scene. This scene is me driving in this Challenger, Dodge Challenger. It's called the Dominator, I believe, in GTA 5. It will cut off that truck next to me to my left. So this is gonna be our first camera. Actually, we're gonna put a little bit closer. Our first one's gonna be close. Our second one's gonna be farther. It would make more sense. Or depending on how the style of your movie is, you can choose. So this is our first position. We're gonna put a little bit shake because this is kind of a little bit of action scene. So now that we have our first position, we can go ahead and press play. Now let's mark our second position, which would be a little bit further. It may not get to the point where I crash into this truck, but at least we'll get the point. Okay, now that we have our second position, let's make sure our first camera is on linear, because if it's not on linear, it's obviously not going to continue to the other camera. Now let's see what it looks like. Okay, that was a weird pan. Remember, you gotta work with GTA's interface. Okay, let's make it a little bit farther. But remember that you always have to mess with the cameras because every scene is different, and it's not all gonna be the same when you're editing. So let's make it quite a distance right here. Okay, now that we got our second position, let's go ahead and make it a little bit farther. You can always pan the camera as you're moving toward the time of the scene. You can always continue working. You'll get what I'm trying to say when you get more practice and start learning how to work with the cameras. Now that's a great pan right there. That was a great pan. Okay. The closer it is, the farther, the closer it is, the faster it will go. And this is the part where I crash into him, I believe. Yeah, that would be the part. But yeah, guys, there you go. There you have it. If you liked what you saw, if this helped a lot, please leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you want. I will be uploading more tutorials and more basically of how I really make movies in GTA. So, thanks guys.